am on the board of a wonderful organization called One Will. This is an organization of feisty old women who do have a mission that we have been working on for many, many years, and that's to look at the Pentagon budget and to see what is the waste that is there, to redistribute that money for discretionary spending. In other words, we could fund all the education, all the health, all the housing, all of the transportation by simply beginning to cut at least 5% from our Pentagon budget. So that is something that's already informed me about an important part of our foreign policy that I would definitely address. We have also had the incredible fortune of being able to be part of a movement that's called Women, Peace and Security. And with that, I've been able to travel to Morocco, to Turkey, and meet with Pakistani women parliamentarians, Afghanistan women parliamentarians from all over the Middle East, with a focus of how can we work for peace together, but also how can we keep women's rights, women's protections at a high level in these countries. That is something that, to me, has to be an international focus of all our policy. When the United States left Afghanistan, it did not ensure that all the efforts that we had made for women were saved. And so women went back to what I think is a totally oppressive system. Is that enough on international? Do you want me to?
I think that's great.
Okay.
I wanted to see if folks at the table had a follow-up question or a question that they wanted to send us in for the next direction.
I was wondering, since I think the U.S. should be a lot more welcoming toward refugees and other
Yes.
What plans or what you would do to try and get to accept more refugees or programs?
Did I pay you for this question?
Legitimately the question.
I think it's a broader question than that. I have been working with immigrants here, well, since I'm an immigrant, and since we began to see this change in Montgomery County and in Maryland. In the early 80s, when the Central American Civil Wars were in effect and Ronald Reagan was bombing all of Central America, do see harvest of empires, because what you've seen is the product of bad foreign policy in the United States. We have had hundreds, thousands of people come to Maryland because it's a push-pull. There were already many Central Americans here. And since I saw that children were getting a second-class education, that we were not able to deal with a different culture and different language, I decided to run for the first time and became a member of the school board in 1990. That was my first moving into public office. I then continued working. I was president of Casa de Maryland, which is the largest immigrant supporting institution, and pushed forward to what has been currently happening. We passed the DREAM Act in Maryland way before the federal government did. We finally got Obama to exercise executive power, which he could have done from day one. I don't know why he chose to not grant the DACA to Dreamers. We now are seeing whether the Supreme Court is going to support the DACA and the expansion to the parents. I have had an ongoing presence in immigration reform for many years. I've been arrested 4 times at the White House. I am very close to Luis Gutierrez. He's endorsed me in all of the Latino caucus. So the minute that I arrive in Congress, I will have 26 friends working on immigration reform. The refugee issue is something that I think has come to distort and confuse how we deal with people who are foreign born. And to me, the unaccompanied minors that I've been working very closely with, this horrible ICE raids that are now part of the practice of our Department of Homeland Security under a Democratic president, absolutely has to stop. It is unnecessary to go after women and children, and they don't need to instill fear in our whole entire community. I was on Kojo on Monday talking about this very issue, and with the contrast that there is in the way that Montgomery County, Maryland, embraces the immigrant, provides opportunities for contributions, and really believes that it is a pluribus unum, that it's from many that we become one. While you see in Virginia, across the way, a completely opposite policy. And just finally, one of my markers as a state legislator is fighting and protecting and providing driver's licenses to undocumented. That is probably, if you talk to a Latino, they associate my name with their driver's license. And just think for a moment what it would be if you didn't have your driver's license, if you could not get it, and have the consequence that if you need to drive and you're picked up, you could be deported. So these are the fair and just things that I think are important for us to fight for. I don't think you're ever going to have a Salvadoran American who represents Montgomery County and its current Democrat movement and has the passion and love for this county.
2-minute warning, and then we're going to do another rotation. 2 more minutes.
It's a unique voice. I'm going to be speaking for people that are not represented now. And I think it's time. I would be the first Salvadoran American ever in the history of the United States. Now we're the 3rd largest population of Latinos in the United States. So this was an opportunity. I was not thinking that I would run for Congress, but we've never had this opportunity of an open seat for Congress, and now is the time. Finally, immigration is a top-level issue. It's no longer that hush-hush, oh, we're really not going to do anything about it. I think we now see how critical it is for the United States to have a fair and just immigration system that embraces and takes advantage of the contributions of all the immigrants, refugees, non-refugees, wherever. I think that is what's going to make this country continue being the great country it is.
They gave us the 2-minute warning. I think Hakeem's got a question.
Yeah. Can I get switching topics to a domestic issue, an issue that I actually think Congress is probably going to act on in the next session, talking about the Affordable Care Act. There's a lot of issues around specifically the Cadillac tax. My fear is that many Democrats being pushed by liberal organizations, particularly the unions, are going to try to get rid of that, given its importance in funding subsidies and the Medicare expansion for states and its ability to give people who were not insured an opportunity to be insured. What are your thoughts on either getting rid of the Cadillac tax? Would you support any Democratic movement in partnering with them to do that, or would you actually stand against getting rid of the Cadillac?
Let me put it in a bigger context. I served on the state.
All right, we're going to do our next rotation. Please wrap up your conversation.
My time that